Good win for our guys. Proud of them. It was a big game for us because it was our next game, and we were back home, and obviously we had come up on the short end a couple of times on the road. But I thought they were unbelievably coachable. They had a good spirit about them. They were not fresh at all, and that's to be expected considering the last couple of practices and the road trip. But I thought we got better today, and I'm really proud of our guys. So, fire away.
Just how much of a relief was it for the guys to come in and get a win?
I think they wanted to win for sure. I mean, they're kids, and you know, they have sight. They don't really have vision, right? They just see the scoreboard. They want to win. But I think anytime they win, I think that's a relief for them, especially, like I said, after the skid we had been on. And then how they won, I think, is a relief as well. This was probably our first close game, and it should not have been close, to be honest. We were up about 15 with about 5 to go, but it was, and they made plays, and I think that gives guys confidence moving forward.
Yeah, and they have an inexperienced team just to be able to go through a close game like that and be able to go through some adversity during the game and come out in a winning game.
No, it was good. It was just a good overall game from start to finish. They were down by 9 in the first half. You know, we played a little slower than what we normally do, and that allowed for us not to get kind of run out of the gym there early. And then the second half, we came out of the locker room ready, made some plays. We couldn't get any stops, but we were making plays. And, you know, the clock started going in our favor. We made a great run midway through the half. It gave us a little cushion. And then down the stretch, we didn't give it away. We didn't give the game away.
And was coming out slow the first half kind of by creation and then turning it on the second half maybe?
No, I mean, it's just how the game flowed tonight. I'd like to come out a lot faster than that. But, you know, we slowed it down a little bit, and that's just kind of the way it goes. It's, you know, it's hard. They've been on the road for 5 days. They practiced. I mean, we practiced them pretty hard yesterday. We've got guys coming in for extra. I mean, we've got a lot going on.
When you shoot 75% in the second half, you're going to win quite a few games doing that, right?
Well, I would hope so, but have you seen our defense the last couple of games? We might not, but you know, we really attacked their zone. We moved the ball from side to side. Seniors made plays. We finished around the rim, and we'll take 75% for sure. And you know, the biggest thing though is we didn't turn it over. The last 5 games, we've been giving up 20 points a game off turnovers. You can't beat anybody doing that. And tonight, points off turnovers were 10, so we cut it in half, and at halftime it was just 2. That's our Achilles heel, is do we have guys good enough, tough enough, smart enough to not give the game to the other team? And tonight we just didn't give them the game. We tried to, but we didn't, which is good.
It seemed like every single time you guys hit a big shot, they'd come right down and hit a 3, or trade 2 for 2. Were you worried that the shots were going to stop falling? You guys would fall behind? I mean, what were the conversations and timeouts like during that stretch?
Yeah, I'm always worried those shots aren't going to fall, right? But we just kept talking about what we needed to do, not really what was happening, but what we needed to do. You know, transition defense, right? They got loose there a couple times. Taking care of the ball, right? If we get a shot at the rim, we can live with that possession. Our offensive numbers are, you know, pretty good. And I've never been a good offensive coach, so I don't really know how that's happening, but they're pretty good. If we get a shot at the rim, we typically can make it, you know, and we shot it well again tonight. I mean, so if we just don't turn it over, we're happy in those huddles. And then on the other end, you know, we got to have a little bit more resistance, especially when they're making their push. You know, that was kind of like a valley game, right, where you think the team is dead in the water, but it's not over until it's over. And I thought that was a good little taste for us there.
Coach, obviously easy to look at the shooting numbers, but I know your focus all week in practices has been defense, and you brought it up earlier. I'm curious how you assessed their performance on that end in this game.
First half, it was phenomenal. Second half, it was back to where it had been. Now, you have to give a lot of credit to Hollingsworth. I mean, he really kept them afloat there. I mean, he was making some bombs, right? But we've got to be a little more consistent with our defensive effort. And what we challenge the guys to do is be more compelled. Like, we need guys where defense is more important to them than offense. And we're not there yet, but you don't get there in 1 practice. You don't get there in 2 practices. But you kind of get there over time. And this was a good game to win before we were compelled on defense. And if we can just keep getting a little better, hopefully by the time January gets around, we understand that to compete in our league, we're gonna have to guard people. It's not a high-scoring league at all.
How much of impact was put on Massey throughout the week, and then seeing that you out-rebound them by 7 boards tonight and Tulio's performance views?
Yeah, we put a big emphasis on Bassey because, you know, he's an easy basket getter, and you can't get better defensively until you stop giving up easy baskets. And I thought Church did a pretty good job when we helped on the weak side a lot. But I think the biggest emphasis on the week was point of attack. And we put Kreklow on their ball handler because Kreklow is probably more compelled defensively than any guard playing major minutes right now. And he's definitely nastier and tougher, right? And that's how you get better. You have to get nastier. And we put him on the point guard. And he kind of got loose there in the second half, but the first half he kind of did a great job. And then you mentioned Tulio. You know, outside of Tulio's tech, I thought he was the player of the game for us just because of his energy. And he just gives us a different dynamic on offense. And he is part of the reason why we shot really good percentages, because in the first half and on film, he's getting easy shots around the rim, and people are going to have to start making a decision how they want to guard him. And then if we take care of the ball, it'll open up the perimeter. But hopefully he doesn't get any more techs, especially with the game on the line when we've lost 5 in a row.
Players made it sound like post-game locker room was pretty jumping. How much of a relief is it for these guys not having to spend the next 10 days thinking about a 6-game losing streak?
You know, I think they are relieved because of what would happen in practice, to be quite honest, because we have got to understand that there's a price to pay if you want to be good. And we've struggled with that because we haven't had a lot of practice with our whole team, right? When we had a game against Stetson here, we had a week off. Josh Webster missed the whole week. Ryan Kreklow missed the whole week. Obadiah Church missed 2 and 3 days. And we were practicing, but there was no team there to practice. And then we went on the road for 3 straight weeks, and we really haven't practiced a lot. Then we added Tulio with no practice. And then we practiced for like an hour before Murray State. We threw him in the fire. And then, you know, we would practice now since we got 10 days, finals week, all that good stuff. But we'll definitely have a better taste in our mouth coming off of a win like this. And, you know, I'm proud of our guys, and I hope that they were relieved for today and enjoy this today, tomorrow, whatever, and then, you know, get back to work.
Next time out, you'll have Jared Ritter too. What are you excited about his game and throwing him in the rotation?
Well, I'm happy Ritter watch is over, right? That's your deal, isn't it? I'm happy that's over. No, but you know what? Here's what I'm gonna say about it. I'm happy he can play for him because he's gone through a lot. I'm happy he can play for his family because they want to see him play. And you know, in defense of Jared, you know, I know he's highly touted. I know people are excited to watch him play, but he's a freshman. He's got to work his way in. He's got a lot of improvement to do. And we won't just throw him in the fire. We will gradually bring him along. You know, I always joke with him in practice. Right now, what Jared does, we don't need. We're shooting pretty good. We need somebody that can guard somebody. But, you know, I guess if you score more than 84, then your defense can be a little weaker, I guess. But I'm happy he can play for him and his family.
Dana, 2 of your seniors, you put a lot of emphasis on these guys. And Jared, 2 fouls early, no points. Craig starts 0 for 4. And then both those guys, they hit some big shots down the stretch there.
I mean, I said it. We're only going to be as good as our seniors, right? And we were down by 9 with JD with 2 fouls and Craig 0 for 4. And then they turned it on, and we beat a pretty solid team on our home court. I mean, we can't put newcomers into the fire and hold them accountable when you have a bunch of guys that have played almost 100 games. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. They just got to be better players. And tonight they were better players. College basketball is a guard game, and I thought our guards tonight, Kreklow, Cook, Dixon, I thought they were phenomenal, especially in the second half, and that helped us win. But we're only going to be as good as our seniors. You go back and look at the game that we lost at Air Force. You know, Jared Dixon's 5 points, and then against Oregon State, we didn't really get a lot of production out of anybody, especially the seniors, right? But if they produce every game that's left on the schedule, we'll have a chance to win. Now that's asking a lot, right? Because they're human beings and they may make mistakes, but it just is what it is.
25th graders about 25th graders in the locker room afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, we've said that kids are welcome in there after every win, and tonight 20 of them took advantage of it. So
That's fun. Were you worried that JD wasn't gonna get that shot off? He seemed to know exactly how much time he had to do something with it.
Yeah, that was a big shot. I was a little worried that we were gonna get a shot clock violation. I wanna say Church found him. That was a great shot. Good play. And it was just a good basketball play, and it's a play that if you wanna beat a good team, you kinda gotta make. And, but we were a little broken there, and I don't know if we had one timeout left. That would've been a bad time to use it to set their defense, and they just made a play off of a broken play. So, senior stepped up, did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, JD, can you take me through that three-pointer with the shot clock expiring?
I think Craig was just driving, like 3-4 seconds left, and he just happened to find me, and then I just let it go. Really, I didn't really even see the rim. It just kind of went in. It was one of those shots where like the shot clock's going down, so you don't have no choice but to shoot it. So it was just kind of nothing to lose for real.
And then that second half, Tulio just came out and kind of took over there for a bit. Is that something we can expect?
Yeah, that's not surprising because he's that good of a player down low, and he just plays really hard, and teams don't really know about him yet, so it's just a plus for us.
There was a lot of arms up and fist pumping after a lot of that. How electric was that atmosphere tonight?
It was real good. It's just being gone for a week or two on the road was just kind of miserable. So it was good to be back playing in the Q, and we were definitely hyped up to try to get a win, which we did in our home court.
Tulio, what Coach Ford say to you guys at halftime? What made the difference? I mean, the second half looked totally different.
Just to go out there and play hard most of the time. Just eliminate the turnovers and just play hard like our hair's on fire and just keep going.
How much were you guys, Keandre, how much were you guys feeding off each other? I mean, knowing the confidence you guys were playing with, it seemed like it kind of snowballed that whole half.
Yeah, we came out with a lot of energy, and the crowd was amazing too, so that was like a big key for us.
Brian, for you guys, it's kind of an inexperienced team right now. Just be able to come in and get that win when it's close. We haven't really had a really close game like so far this season. What do you like from you guys?
Yeah, I think late in the game we took care of the ball, and we were strong with it. We didn't make too many careless mistakes, and that's needed to win these close games. And also we knocked down a free throw, which is a plus for us. So I think we got a lot of new guys, so we just got to learn and grow from this win. It's better to learn from a win than a loss. So just take this one to the next game.
Tulio, what's it like being out there? I mean, you didn't get to start off the season with the guys, but just the last couple of games, you've been out there playing and be able to come play in front of the home crowd the first time tonight.
It's amazing, man. It's amazing. The fans was super hyped up. I was out there just having fun, playing hard. I give the credit to my team, so just keep motivating me, keep going. Rebounding the ball and just making good plays at another end.
JD, it seemed like every time you guys would hit a big shot, they'd come right down and hit a three. So you guys never really were able to pull away, but what were the conversations like during timeouts, to make sure that you never slipped up defensively?
Just take care of the ball when we get it back. Don't panic in those situations because they have a lot of good players. So when we try to score, just try to get a stop. But if they hit a shot, which they kept doing, which kind of it hurts, but you just got to keep playing and finish the game off. Can't just really think about it too much.
And then Keandre, to finally see a win through the end. I mean, how much of a relief was it in the locker room after this game? Not letting it slip away.
Everybody's definitely happy. We lost 5 straight, but we bounced back.
How's it been for you too? You've taken on a different role since last time we've really been able to talk to you. How have you kind of grown into coming off of it?
I've been adjusting good. I mean, it's a team game. It's not just like individual, so I just been adjusting good.
Why are you guys laughing after we say?
Yeah, Craig, can you give some details to the locker room?
Yeah, we had about 20 little kids. They must have been like 5th graders in there. Everyone was jumping around with each other. It was funny.
Why were the kids over there?
I don't know.
Is that a surprise? Spark program.
We usually have like 2 or 3, but this time we had about like 20 out of the whole team.
20 plus.
Bunch of them.
Ryan, what did you guys learn about your team, when you went on the road, played all those really tough quality opponents and some of those losses, but what do you learn to make yourselves better out of that?
I think we just got to learn, or taught us to just stick together and just keep pushing through. But the team as young as us and inexperienced as us, we're gonna have hard times, but it's just all about bouncing back and just keeping a positive mindset with it and just moving to the next game. We can't dwell on the past games. We just got to take it one game at a time and just keep going.
JD, you guys have like 10 days off now for finals and all that stuff. To go into this break with a win, I mean, what does that change about the trajectory of the team for the next couple weeks?
It's great because, I mean, you don't have to dwell on losing for however long, even though we play like 10 days or so. So you don't got to dwell on that. And then another thing we can just focus on is getting healthy all the way. Some guys are just banged up playing, just playing through it, getting healthy, and then just focusing on finals and finishing up strong. And then when it's time to come back, I mean, guys are probably still going to shoot and stuff like that, but when it's time to get back as a team, we'll be ready to go and fresh.
Ryan, now you guys add Ritter. Just how excited are you guys for that, and what's he gonna bring?
Yeah, I'm pumped. Just to have another shooter out there. We'll just space the floor out, make it easier for the bigs, make it easier for the guards. And just happy for him. I mean, he's been sitting out for so long, and he's a good player, and I'm just happy to see him out there and excited to see what he can do.
Right, what have you learned in, four seasons about that period after finals when there's no class? What changes as you guys get ready for the conference season?
It's just all basketball. You don't have to worry about going to school. Usually you do 2 days, so it's just nothing but basketball and just figuring out more about your team and just making improvements every day, just going into that conference season.